Okay, so tonight we are going to be learning some teachings from Reb Tzadok and Parshat Shoftim. But I'm going to focus this week on the Haftarah because, I think that, the nation in general is in a pretty intense time right now. This morning we woke up to the horrible news that 6 Hashers were killed. And somebody noted today that it's especially powerfully difficult because to a lot of people, Hersh Poland was like a sign of hope, and for him to be murdered is really how can you have hope when hope has been killed? And so we need a lot of healing, and we need a lot of comfort, and so Hashem sent us a certain nechama, a certain comfort, because it happens to be that right now we're in these weeks called the Shevet and Nechemta, that the 7 weeks of comfort, and the Haftarahs of every parsha for these 7 weeks, since Shabbos Nachmo, since 2 weeks ago, until Rosh Hashanah, is mamish the Haftarahs of Nechama. And so if we go to the parsha to find comfort, so we can find it, because the Torah this week is giving us comfort, and there is a very unique nechama in this week's Haftarah. It's a pasuk. It's psukim from Yeshayahu Parak Nun Aleph, and it starts Anochi Anochi Hu Menachemchem, that Hashem says that behold that I am the one comforting you, and so I want to start with the comment of Reb Tzadok that he notes that the fact that there's Shevet and Nechemta, the fact that there's 7 Haftarahs of Nechama, is corresponding to the 7 spheres, and that the fact that the 4th sphere is corresponding to the sphere of Netzach. Okay, so I want to a little intro about what does it mean, the sphere of Netzach. So Netzach has 2 translations that we'll figure out why they're connected. First of all, Netzach comes from the word Nitzachon. Nitzachon means victory, and it also has the connotation of Lenetzach Netzachim, which means for all eternity, okay, forever and ever. Okay, so what's the connection between the victory, the being victorious, and eternity? So now the Chassidish Sfarim, they explain that that Rabbi Nachman talked about this, because Rabbi Nachman felt very connected to the Midah of Netzach, and he himself noted that Nachman is the same gematria as Netzach, and so he himself felt that he himself felt connected to the sphere of Netzach, and so the thing about Netzach is that to be victorious means that I refuse to be dominated. I refuse to be taken over. I refuse that anybody should beat me up. And as if you beat me up, I'm just going to come back. I'm just going to bounce back. That's what it means to me, that Netzach. And that if I have this ability to always bounce back, even when I'm down withering on the floor, so that is my secret of eternity. The secret of eternity is that if you're good until you get beaten up, so then you're finite, then you're transient, then you're not going to make it forever. The secret of living forever is that even when you die, you just come back to life, right? So that's exactly what Netzach is. Netzach is that I'm always going to bounce back. I'm always going to, even when it looks like I'm on the floor, but I'm able to come back. I refuse to take no for an answer. I refuse to, what do they say, take an L. There is no option of taking an L, and I have to check up if I said something inappropriate.
He's a cool rabbi.
So that ability is what allows me to be eternal. Okay, the fact that I'm never going to give up, that's what makes me eternal. That's why. So Reb Nachman, probably his most famous quote is that that never ever give up. There's no such thing as giving up. Like there is no concept of giving up. So because Rabbi Nachman represented, because he stood for the idea that there is no giving up, that even when I look like I'm withering on the floor, like I'm over, like it's gone, and that I'm still going to come back. So that's why Reb Nachman said, because that's what I represent, that's why I stand for. So that's what he said, that my fire will burn until Mashiach comes. That he knew that his fire is not going to be extinguished. Okay, so this is the secret of eternity, comes from the secret of that I refuse to take no for an answer, that even when it's over, it's never over. Right? So that's really what Netzach is all about. And so the Haftarah, the Haftarah of the fourth week, which is this week's Haftarah. So this is the Haftarah of Netzach. This is the Haftarah that the comfort that we're looking for is an eternal comfort. It's a comfort that even if we're just dying on the floor, even if all hope has let go, but we can still retain a new hope from that place of being over. So I want to go through this Haftarah a little bit, and see how the Navi wants to comfort us with this comfort of this nechama of eternity. And so go through. It'll be like a little bit an exercise. If you want to open up your phones and look at that, you can Google Haftarah of Parshat Shoftim, and you can go through it together, or you can just listen. It's all good. So it starts Anochi hu menachemchem. Okay, so Hashem says that I. He says twice. Anochi hu menachemchem. And so first let's try to analyze what is the word Anochi. So first of all, Anochi is a famous word in the Torah because it's the first word in. Okay, it's the first word in the Ten Commandments is Anochi Hashem Elokecha, and in fact later in this Haftarah, so Hashem even says like Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Like he's like it's very clear that he's referencing that revelation of Ma'amad Sinai, and so what does Anochi mean? What does Anochi mean? Anochi is a unique way, a way of describing. So Reb Tzadok explains that there's if I like in Opan, so when you learn how to speak Hebrew, so how do you say I? Ani, right? The usual way to say me is ani, right? So what's up with this Anochi? It sounds like some yeshivish guy trying to speak Hebrew. So what's Anochi? Okay, so Reb Tzadok explains that the word ani means I. And so sometimes Hashem calls himself Ani, and the word Ani has another way of expressing these letters. If you switch the letters around, so Ani is the same letters as Ayin. Okay, so what's the connection between Ani and Ayin? Okay, so Reb Tzadok explains that according to Kabbalah, the Zohar writes that Ani and Ayin, the reason why it's the same letters is because it's two opposite expressions of the same thing, and that is that in Kabbalah he calls it that Keter, which is the highest sphere, as opposed to Malchut, which is the lowest sphere. Okay, so the highest sphere, Keter, what we know about Keter is that when Hashem expresses himself in a way that he's completely not relatable, when it's such a bright light that it's blinding. Okay, that's called Keter. Okay, so it's Hashem's infinite, incomprehensible existence is referred to as Keter. So, in fact, it's funny. Like what somebody once explained to me that Keter literally means crown, right? So, like in the highest spheres are Dat, Bina, Chachma. Chachma is the highest before Keter. So these are all the parts of the brain, right? The difference is the Das is the part of the brain that makes decisions, the Bina is the analytical side, and the Chachma is the way that we gain information. And so then even above that is the Keter. And Keter means a crown, right? Keter is made of gold and diamonds, right? Like you would have thought that it's something that it's like it's even more esoteric than the place of your brain that you get inspiration. That like something like even higher than that. And then we go to something which is completely physical. So what's up with that? So somebody explained that it's like it's a way of speaking. Really, it's something so deep that there is no word that can describe it. So we only describe the thing that goes on top of it as a way of just avoiding the topic. Okay, but really, Keter is describing this place of God that there is no way to describe him. So we describe the thing that we're able to describe, even though it's just not what we're talking about at all. Anyway, that's what Keter is all about. Keter is the incomprehensible, which is the ayin. Okay, ayin is the where. Where is it? Where is it? We explained this a couple of weeks ago. That no, it wasn't here. It was in a class with you. That this is the highest level, the highest level of our connection to Hashem on Shabbos, the highest level of Neshama Yisera. So the Ben Ish Chai writes from the Mekubalim that when we say in Kedusha that Ayeh Mekom Kvodo. Kvodo Malei Olam Misharasif Shoalim Zelazeh Ayeh Mekom Kvodo. That where is his cover? Where is his glory? So where is it means that we don't see it. And the highest level of there's a rule in spirituality that the less is more and more is less. Okay, meaning that the more that you understand, that the lower the level that you're dealing with is. The less you understand, the higher level that you're dealing with is. Meaning that the more that you see God in your life, the less God is actually connected with you. The less that you see God in your life, the more God is actually with you. Okay, it's very paradoxical. So if you understand God, that means that He's coming down to a very low level. He's not really being Himself. But when we don't understand anything, that's God, right? Like the Kutzker would say that, like I wouldn't want to serve a God that I can understand Him, right? If I understand Him, then He's not God, right? So if I feel Him, He's not God. If I don't feel Him, then He's God, right? That's the secret of Purim. Purim is that Hashem is behester. Hashem is completely hidden. Okay, and when Hashem is hidden, so then it's in all His glory, in all His essence. It's like He's coming to His true 100%. He's so Him that we don't see anything because it's completely blinding. So it seems like He's not here, but really it's because He's here. Right? That's the paradox of spirituality. So that's the paradox of ani versus ayin. Okay? Ani is me. Like if Hashem is telling you me, so what's that mean? That means that He expects you to see, you. Right? That means that we can see Him. That means we can chap Him. Okay? That means we can relate to Him. So if there's an ani, then He's at the lowest level. That's machut. Okay? And the opposite to that is ayin. Ayin is that He's not here. Right? The B'dishafa writes that when we say in Tehillim that Shalom Alot, Asayinai Alehavim, Me'ayin Yavozri. From whence comes my help? So B'dishafa writes that it doesn't mean from whence comes my help. It means Me'ayin Yavozri. It means that from this place of that I know that you're here. I know that there is no such thing as Me'ayin. Like where are you? There is no where are you. There is that you're there, and I know that you're hiding. And I know that you're here so much that it's because you're here so much. That's why I don't see you. Okay, that's what it means. Ayin Yavos. You understand? So this is why ani and ayin are really two opposite expressions of the same thing, so to speak. So Hashem sometimes appears in the lower sphere of Malchut, and sometimes Hashem appears in the higher sphere of Keter, and that's ani versus ayin. Okay, so the Reb Tzadok writes that what's the secret of Anochi? Anochi. So the chaf that's added. So what does chaf stand for? Keter, right? So the kaf stands for keter, right? So that it's ani, which represents malchut, which represents the lowest level, but in the middle of the lowest level is the kaf, which is the keter, okay, which is the highest level, which is the inexpressible, which is the incomprehensible. Okay, so anochi really represents that Hashem is saying that in the ani, I want to make myself completely transparent with you. I want to be relatable to you. I want you to get me. I want you to see me. I want you to feel me. But at the same time, there's a downside to that if I'm going to be relatable to you, so then it's not going to be the real me. I'm going to be lowering myself. But Anochi is that I'm going to stick my chav into my ani. Okay, I'm going to be relating to you with the ani, but at the same time, I'm going to put that this incomprehensibility, this infinite existence, I'm going to put it down into the ani, and that's what Anochi is all about. And that's what happened at Maimon HaSinai. Okay, that's what happened. What was unique in Maimon HaSinai is that is that like the finite and the infinite merged. Right? That's why Chazal have an interesting way of explaining this. They said that they were Rayam es Hanishma, that we were able to see the audio and hear the visual. And people who have taken different psychedelics have told me that they also experienced such a thing. So that, but that was a sober Maimon Sinai was that this merging between the finite and the infinite is that's what a Anochi is all about. And so we say Anochi hu menachemchem. So Hashem says that that same Anochi that I said that I had Maimon Sinai, which is the connection between the finite and the infinite, that I'm relating to you in a finite way, in a relatable way, but at the same time you're feeling and you're experiencing the fact that there's something incomprehensible about this meaning. Okay, that's what Anochi means. So that's the source of the Nechama. That's the source of the comfort, and that is and it's from that place that Hashem is going to take care of all of our issues. Okay, so what is this? So how does that play itself out? Okay, so the Haftarah, it explains it. It goes in different stages. The first pasuk, right after he says, by the way, the way I understand the double lashon Anochi is that the first Anochi was the beginning of the story. That Hashem is saying that the same Anochi is going to be expressed at the end. Okay, that's the double. Okay, so it starts with Hashem is calling out that what are you so worried about? He's calling us out on having anxiety. He says, "Mi'at v'tiri me'enash yamas." That why are you so afraid of human beings that are going to die? That you forget Hashem, and you're always scared the entire day. You're just frightened. That you're scared of the matzik. The matzik means the enemy. That they're making a siege on you. That you're scared of the person who's besieging you. That and where is the chametz hamatzik? So now, based on what we're saying, so that the Navi could be hinting to a different thing. So we just said that what's ayeh mean? Ayeh means that it's really Hashem in the form of keter, right? When you don't see Hashem, so then that's called ayeh, right? So ayeh chametz hamatzik means that this siege, that was really ayeh. That was really me. That was really me. So, what are you concerned about? It's all me. It's all me. There's nothing to be concerned about. You know, like I just on the way, literally on the way here. So I met. I met in the street. I met my neighbor Chaya Lester, and she just got back from America. And whatever, she told me that she saw my brother in America, and she asked me how I'm doing. So I said good. You know, things are intense. Like that today is like it's a heavy day. So, and she said something that like I was surprised to hear it from her. She said, "Yeah, we needed to do a big tshuva. We really need a big tshuva," and that's like, you know, in a certain sense, like that yes, it's all like there's nothing. We just need to do tshuva. It's so simple. It's all, like if we know that it's all Hashem, so then it's all a dynamic of a give and take. It's a conversation. It's a dialogue. That like. If we do tshuva, then we'll get out of here. You know, like it's like there is something. There is something like I play with this idea. That like nobody wants to say. Nobody says that like nobody deserves to be kidnapped. Nobody deserves to be killed, But the fact is that anybody that was at the festival wasn't keeping Shabbos. And if they would have been keeping Shabbos, they wouldn't have been kidnapped and they wouldn't have been killed. You know, I don't mean the officers that came as a result of after, but like the original attack. So it came as a result of Chol Shabbos, and like there has to be some some note of the fact that like maybe Hashem is saying something, that He would like people to keep Shabbos. Maybe He didn't like this. Maybe He didn't like this Nova festival. Like there's it's not. You're not allowed. You're allowed to say that. You're allowed to say that Hashem didn't actually didn't like this Nova festival, and like there was something not okay about this massive Chol Shabbos, and so like if that's what brought this whole thing. Now, of course, like if this is going to be the beginning of Mashiach, so then of course it was good that they're like, but if that's what brought the end, if that's what brought this whole thing, so then if we do tshuva, that's going to get rid of it, right? Mm-hmm. So that Ayah Chamas HaMatzik is that like it was all me. It was all me. The Chamas HaMatzik, that all the anger of the Matzik, the person who's sieging you, of the enemy, the anger of the enemy, it was all me. It was all me. So then, like you have nothing to be afraid of. Just if I was giving a class about anxiety, that there's this expression in Yiddish that a person who has fear from the one, he doesn't have to have fear from anyone. Right? That if you have your Shemayim, then you don't have to be afraid of anybody. Right? That if you're okay with God, so then you don't have to be afraid of anybody else. Now all the anxieties in the world, they're coming as because we're supposed to have fear from Hashem, which is supposed to keep us in line, and all of the other fears in the world is really a sign to a reminder to keep us aligned with Hashem. Okay, that's a different Torah. We learned this a couple of times in the Torahs from the Chernobyl, if you recall, in the Marinayim. So Hashem is calling us out on having anxiety. That why are you guys so afraid, right? Meaning that you had bad news. You have bad news. Things are not going well. You're hearing about people dying. You're hearing about the situation getting worse and worse and worse, and Hashem says that this is not okay. This is not okay that you're living with fear. Okay, living in fear is not acceptable. So he says, and now he says that I said he references the Maimon Harsine. Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Roga Hayam Vayehemu Galav. That Roga means peace. I can take the ocean and make it peaceful, and there won't be any waves. Okay? So there's waves. This is like this waves is a metaphor. The waves of the ocean is a metaphor for feeling helpless, feeling that like everything is chaos, feeling that like we don't know if we're coming or going. We feel like we're like, I don't know if you've ever been in big waves. You feel like you're helpless. You feel like you're like there's nothing to do. Like there's absolutely nothing to do. So that feeling of helplessness. So Hashem says that I'm Roga Hayam Vayam Ugalav. That I'm the one that can take this ocean, this symbol of chaos, the symbol of helplessness, and I can make it all stop. So this is the first point of Nechama. The first point of Nechama that Hashem says that what he's saying is that because he is the creator of everything, so his existence is in the finite, is in the infinite, and he's the source of everything, and he can even put himself into the enemy, and if there is nothing besides Hashem, so then there is nothing to be afraid of. Okay, and really on a simple level. So what is this first Nechama? This first Nechama is Ein Od Milvado. Okay, this is the Nechama of Ein Od Milvado. A friend of mine, my neighbor here, Aaron Rizal. So he has a beautiful song that he wrote many years ago, and like a very it looks like, looking back, it looks like nothing, but like at the time it was a very powerful, a very difficult time in our history. Maybe you were here for the Hitnat Kut. Hitnat Kut, for the disengagement from Gush Katif, from from Azov.
Yeah, I was born.
Yeah, okay. So the
2005.
I don't know the English for that. Anyway, so
I've seen a lot of it's the best.
So anyway, so that was really the beginning of the beginning of this whole Azov thing. The whole beginning of Hamas is really this occasion, and so he wrote a song. He wrote a song about the disengagement, about the horror of just being kicked out of your house. Okay, and the point of the song was that like, what is our response? Like, if somebody can just out of nowhere just come and just kick me out of my house, just make some law that says that I get to be that the army can come and just force me to pack my bags and just move out of my home that I built with my own hands. So what's my response? So the only response is Ein od milvado. Okay, that there is nothing besides Hashem, and meaning that don't bother to try to understand. Don't try to make any sense of it. Don't try that it must be that it's all Hashem. Okay, and Ein od milvado, like, what's it really mean? Ein od milvado means that there is no power besides Hashem. That there's no such thing. There's no such thing as the bad guys. There's no such thing as forces of evil that can have power over me. That it is all Hashem. So if it's all Hashem, so then it's all kindness and it's all rachamim. I mean, even though we don't see it, so we don't understand. It's frustrating not to understand things. But Ein od milvado means that there is nothing besides Hashem. That there is no other powers that can mess me up. That everything is Hashem. I don't understand that everything is Hashem, but that itself is a comfort. Meaning that the pain of things going wrong are really twofold. That we speak a lot of times. Reb Nachman talks about this. That there's pain and suffering. The pain is the objective loss in any particular thing that happens, and Reb Nachman says that the suffering is the what we tell ourselves, the emotional pain that we give ourselves, because we say this shouldn't have been like this. This it should have been better. So because it should have been better, so then this is messed up. So if it's messed up, then it's much more painful, right? And this is really like in every loss, you can really divide between between the pain and the suffering. That there's an objective pain. There's an objective pain in any loss. There's an objective pain. It's annoying not to have this thing, whatever it was that you had, whether it was money, whether it was a part of your body, whether it was a loved one. That there is some objective thing that this person or this thing that they added to your human experience, and now that they're gone, that you're not going to have that. And then there's the emotional pain. The emotional pain is that you tell yourself that I should have had it still, and it's not. And like with money, it's the easiest. With money, like any money that you lose. So there is some objective lack of the fact that I don't have this money, but you will always manage without this money, right? You'll absolutely always manage. All the pain of losing money is only because I think I shouldn't have lost it, right? So Rabbi Nachman writes that if a person realizes that there is no such thing as I shouldn't have had it, Emunah means that this is exactly the way it was supposed to be. So that if I have this Emunah that it couldn't have been otherwise, so then I erased all of the suffering. Then I still have to deal with the objective loss, the objective lack, but all of the emotional pain just melted. Because the emotional pain is also from this contrast. That he writes that this is even true with physical pain. He writes that the person that gets a bruise, breaks a bone or something. So the first day it hurts the most, and then as the days move on, so it hurts less and less. Even though sometimes it heals, but even before it heals, it hurts less. So he says, why does it hurt less? Because the first day you still remember how it felt yesterday. So you're constantly comparing to the way you think it should feel, and you're saying, I should feel great, and I feel so trashy. So that sucks, and that contrast, that's really what causes you pain. But after the first day, so you start getting, okay, it is what it is. So if it is what it is, then it doesn't hurt so much, even though it's the same objective pain. But because I stopped comparing it, so it actually has less suffering. Okay? So this is really the secret of all. Not all, but a lot of the pain that we have is a really emotional pain, and the emotional pain that we have is a result of the fact that we think that it should be otherwise, and that's why if you really have emunah, so then there is no suffering. because there is no way it should have been otherwise. This is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so this is the nechama of Ein Od Milvado, that there is nothing besides Hashem, that everything that happens is exactly the way it was supposed to happen, and this knowledge that everything that happens is exactly the way it's supposed to happen, that it shouldn't have been otherwise. So this is what Hashem. This is what the Navi means, that Anochi hu menachemchem, that this Anochi, that I am completely present even in the tzaras, even in the difficult times. So that is the greatest nacham. So like there's no room for anxiety. Okay, that's the first part. Okay, so now the Navi continues. Okay, this is the second point. The second point in the Haftarah. Hita'aravi, wake up. Kumi Yerushalayim, that get up Yerushalayim. Asher shatit miyad Hashem et kos chamato, that you drank from Hashem the cup of His anger. At kubat kos hatarela shatit matzit, you drank this cup of poison. You drank this cup of poison. Okay, so if Hashem is saying that wake up, so it means that we're in a state of slumber. Okay, and that means that the part of this, this poison, so it was like a numbing poison. It was a drug. Like we got drugged up. Okay, part of what happened through all of the suffering of all the generations is a certain numbness that we get. Okay, and he continues, Ein minahela mikol banam yolada, that there's no nihul, there's nobody running the show. Yeah, there's the NTV, we have no leaders. The leaders, there's nobody leading us that we can trust. And he writes that there's shod and shever, rav, cherev, that there's everyone is stealing and everything's broken, and there's hunger and there's swords. And then this is banayach ulfu, your sons are just collapsed. Shach v'berosh kachutzais, and they're just tossed around, just out in the open. Hamleim chamas Hashem garas adekayach. Shimina zois ania u'shchuras v'leimiyah. Then he calls Klal Yisrael. This is the. He calls us two things: ania, that we're poor, and he calls us shchuras v'leimiyah, that we're drunk, but not from alcohol. So we're poor, meaning that we're not there. We're not in our higher self. We're poor, meaning that we aren't able to think from a sophisticated place. Like a person who's poor is Chazal have an expression that dikduki anias is mavirin la'adam adaito ve'adas koinen, that person, that being poor can make you crazy and make you irreligious. That when you're involved all day in survival kinds of calculations of do I have enough money for the cottage cheese, or do I have to just get for the regular cheese? When that's where your mind is all day, so Chazal say, it can drive you crazy, and meaning that you become it messes with your ability to make decisions in life, because it messes with your whole value system. It messes with the way you look at life. If you're living in a survival mode, so then everything you do in life, every decision you're going to make is going to be a little bit like you forget what life is all about, right? So it says Mavirin Adam al Daita, that it drives you crazy. You aren't able to make normal decisions in life. Like, what's a crazy person? A crazy person is a person that makes messed up decisions, right? And v'adas koinen, and it also brings you away from Hashem. Okay, so that's what it means aniyah. And shchuras v'lo miyayin, this was mentioned in the Kinnis and Tishbav. This is one of the Kinnis starts with the shchuras v'lo miyayin. It calls Klal Yisrael shchuras v'lo miyayin, that we're a drunk nation. What's it mean? What's it mean? We're a drunk nation.
Under the influence.
What?
Under the influence.
Under the influence. Like we're numb. We aren't able to think clearly. we are like the decisions that we make are just coming from a messed up place, and problem it's collective, and like we're all in this together. We're all drunk together, and like when Mashiach comes, so suddenly we're gonna become sober, and then we're gonna look back. It's like, whoa, what was I thinking? I was so under the influence, like, and so this is so Hashem is looking down at us, and it says, guys, you don't get it. You don't get it. You're under the influence. You're not there. You're not thinking straight. Maybe we have to go to the whole Columbia University and say, you guys, you just. And so the whole world, the whole Jewish world, the whole non-Jewish world, the whole world, that the result of these years of suffering is that we became a little bit under the we can't make normal decisions, like this is like it's really true. It's really true. Like I think that part of what brings to the anti-religious culture in Israel is the intensity of being a nation constantly in war. Like when you're constantly in the survival mode, so then it messes with your brain. Some people can't take it. It's somewhat of it's a numbing. It's a technique. It's a kind of defense mechanism that if life is tough enough as it is. So you want to make it even more difficult. That I even have responsibilities to God. So it's like some kind of this built-in defense mechanism that I just because I'm just in survival mode, because I'm always in fear of being killed. So then it's some kind of defense mechanism that I turn to secularism, and that's what Shchuris V'Lam Yain. You're not thinking straight. It's that because of all the galus, because of all the suffering, so it messes with our whole existence. Okay, so that's Hashem calls out to us, and
Can I just say, it seemed like some people became more religious because of the hardships, though, at the same time. Especially what happened with a lot of secular people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not religious, but they all of a sudden want to connect with Judaism because of the craziness that they went through. And it's also something new.
No, for sure. It's certainly, especially when you find anti-Semitism, then people feel like if I'm suffering as a Jew, so then I deserve to learn about why I'm suffering. But I'm saying as a generalization, I think that this could have been as a cultural, a socio-science thing. That I think that it could be that that's really where some of this cultural anti-religious thing comes from. I think especially in the I could say in the Datilumi Haftarah world. That there's people that say that there's people that don't want to live, that bring up the kids in Israel because they're scared that if they live in Israel, there's more of a chance that the kids are going to go off the derech. I think part of that comes from this intensity. That in Israel, in America, it's life is that there's no survival. There's no you can focus on your values more. And then in Israel, because there's intensity, so then there's more of a fear that you're going to drop it. That's what I mean. Okay, so what does Hashem say? What does Hashem? So what is the Nechama? What is the Nechama? So he says, Ka Amar Hashem, Ka Amar Adonai Hashem, Elokayach Hariv Amo, Hinakachtim Yadach Kos HaTavela, that behold, I've taken from you this cup of poison. Lo Tosifi Lishtosa Od, you're not going to drink it anymore. Not going to drink it anymore. V'samtia b'yad Magayach. And not only that, I'm going to take it away from you, I'm going to give it to those who were who are inflicting pain on you. I'm going to give this cup of poison to your enemies, and they're going to have to suffer from it. Now, right now we're still in the middle of the story. Right now, in terms of this war that we're in, so we're still in the middle. So like Hashem is not telling us this Shabbos, as of now, Hashem is not telling us this Shabbos that it's over. It's not over. And it's very possible that it's gonna get worse. But what is Hashem saying as a definite thing? And this really goes back to the idea of Netzach that Reb Tzadok starts with. That Hashem says that we that there's a long story. There's a long story, and the end of the story is a happy ending. You know, part of this is really what the we're talking about Mashiach. We're talking about that we believe in Mashiach. So the nechama of Mashiach is, and this is like the thing, like you ever heard that on line to the gas chambers in Auschwitz, so the Jews were singing about Mashiach. Like this is Mashiach was always the thing that gave us hope. Now, so what does that mean? I once met this very intellectual boy. He's learning in Machon Yaakov. He's very scholastic kind of guy, and so he became religious. He's about tshuva. He understands. He's very into Shabbos, very into halacha, very into. But he said to me, Mashiach. I don't know why Mashiach is such a thing. To be honest, I couldn't care less about Mashiach. I bought into this whole religious stuff. I bought into this whole Shabbos kosher stuff, but Mashiach, I don't know. It doesn't. My life is not going to change because of Mashiach. So I told him, I want to tell you what Mashiach is all about. Mashiach is a very deep belief in our whole existence. That we can't even live one day in our life without this belief in Mashiach. Because you know what Mashiach is? Mashiach is that the belief that whatever happens, we know that there's going to be a happy ending. Because if there's not going to be a happy ending, so then what are we doing here? Because it looks like we're losing. It looks like we're losing. So why don't we just give up now? Why don't we let's be on the good side?
Is it a problem to attribute powers to Mashiach that he doesn't have?
We're talking about Mashiach. It's all Hashem. Mashiach has no power. Mashiach.
Why do you keep talking? But I think this guy has a point. I mean,
Mashiach is something.
Is king.
Mashiach means anointed. It means the Mashiach has no.
Like David HaMelech was Mashiach. Shaul was Mashiach, right?
You could say.
I mean, that's what they were referred to in the Tanakh.
Not
It's
really,
Mashiach.
but anyway, but
David called Shaul Mashiach. So,
correct. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I mean, I think it's important, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think our challenges will suddenly disappear once he shows up.
So that I should explain to you also that when we're talking about Mashiach, what we're saying is that there is a happy ending. Now every revolution in world history until now, we don't know about the future, but until now, every single revolution that ever happened, every big change in the world that ever happened, always had a leader that was facilitating that revolution, right? So the Amunah Mashiach is really saying that there's going to be a happy ending. And until now, so every time that something big changes, there's always some person that is at the head of that revolution. And that person is called Mashiach. But that's not the point. The point is not this guy. The point is that there's going to be a happy ending. And that belief that there's going to be a happy ending, that is what gives us hope. Because if there's not going to be a happy ending, so why should we bother? We should really give up. So the knowledge that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, that it doesn't matter what it seems, that Hashem says, I swear, it's going to be good at the end. So that's the knowledge that gives us hope. Okay, and that's what it means. That
What does that have to do with Mashiach?
Mashiach is the guy that happens to facilitate this revolution. It's going to make it good at the end. It's not about the guy. It's about the revolution. It's about the fact that at the end it's going to be good. Understand?
I think so.
Like we're talking about, it's not about Mashiach. It's about Geula.
Right.
It's about the fact that the story of the Jewish people has a happy ending.
You talking about the Mashiach himself or the age of the Mashiach?
The age of Mashiach happens to have a guy called Mashiach who facilitates this change. But that's not the point. The point is not the guy. The point is the change. The point is that there is a happy ending for the Jewish people, and that's what Hashem sings. That is the comfort even now.
But what happens when Mashiach already? Let's say Mashiach is already anointed. And what happens to that concept of the happy ending?
Are you Chabad? So Mashiach.
For example, Mashiach is anointed.
We'll know.
And we have.
We'll know.
Okay.
Trust me.
If you know,
I
you know.
trust.
Right?
Like if you know, you know.
Yeah, that's not going to be our problem. That's not going to be a problem. Our problem is not believing that there could be a Mashiach, not believing that there could be a happy ending. And Hashem is saying that at the end, Hashem is going to say that, okay, you drank all the poison you needed to drink, and now let the good times roll. Okay, that there is an end to your suffering. That there is only so much that you're going to have to suffer. At the end, He's going to say, you drank enough, now I'm going to take away this cup of poison from you, I'm going to give it to your enemies. Okay, that is the Nechama, and this is his response to the fact that there were shchuris midavi. This is his response to the fact that, like, you guys, you're under the influence. You don't get it, and you've given up. And Hashem is saying that the thing that can give you hope, even when there is no room for hope, is the knowledge that this is finite. Okay, that there's only so much. There's only so much that we can suffer, and not only that, but all that suffering, we can take it, and we're going to outlive it. Okay? Okay. Now, at the end of the Haftarah, so there's a bunch of psukim that I really think that they also connect back with the very beginning of the first word, Anochi, because we know that what was unique about Maimon HaSinai? What was unique about when Hashem presented Himself at Har Sinai? So, what was special about it was that this was a revelation. Right? The Gemara in Shabbos says that Anochi is an acronym. It's a Rashi Tevot. It stands for Ana, Nafshai, Katvit, Yahavit. That it means that I took, Hashem says, I took my soul, Nafshai, I took my soul, Katvit, and I wrote it down, Yahavit, and I gave it over. Okay? So the which is another way of saying that I somehow, that even though it's my soul, my infinite God, I'm God, I somehow I've made myself available to you. Okay, and that's through the Torah. Okay, so and that's what Maimon HaSinai was. It was getting the Torah, right? So through the Torah, so we are connected to Hashem's essence, and Hashem. But at Maimon HaSinai, there was a revelation. Okay, so which is like really another way of expressing what we said before, that there's merging between the finite and the infinite. So that's what Anochi is all about. Anochi is about revelation. Okay, seeing God. The opposite of revelation is Hestar Panim. The opposite of revelation is when Hashem's face is hidden, which is really another way of saying Galut, right? Which is like when we say when we're being killed, when we're being attacked, and we seem helpless. So that's another way of expressing Hestar Panim. That's another way of saying that Hashem is hiding His face. So what is the Nechama that Hashem says? Lachen yeda ami shmi, lachen bayamahu, ki ani hu hamadaber hineni. That my nation will know my name. That means we're going to have an intimate knowledge of God. That how beautiful is the Mavaser. The Mavaser is the one who's shouting the news, who's giving over the PR, the person in charge of the media. That is, he's Mashmiya Shalom. Sounds like a messianic news channel. Mevaser Tov is like he's going to be giving good news. How come nobody, no news channels thought that Mevaser Tov would be a good title for it? Why? Because they know that the news is full of Mevaser Ra. It's all that. What?
That's what gets the
That's
ratings.
the bad news, right? So when Mashiach comes, so it's going to be a lot of PR. It's going to be the expression of goodness. That kol tzofach nasu kol yachtav yiraim ke ayin bi ayin yu b'shuv Hashem tzion. What does it mean ayin bi ayin yu? That we're going to see Hashem literally eye to eye. Eye to eye. This is a reference. This is a reference of Hashem revealing Himself. That there's going to be a certain awareness. There's going to be a clarity that God is present. Okay? Pitzchu ranu yachtav chavos Yishalayim kinichem Hashem amo gal Yishalayim. Chasav Hashem Ezra Kachor. This is literally Chasav Hashem Ezra Kachor. Hashem is going to uncover His arm. Okay? This is a metaphor for Hashem's arm is strength. So until now, Hashem's strength was covered up, and at the end, so Hashem is going to uncover His arm. It's going to be very clear to all the bad guys that Hashem has got strength. And all the goyim, all of our enemies, they're going to see very clearly that Hashem is giving us redemption. So this last point is revelation. That what's going to happen at the end is that Hashem is going to reveal the secret. That meaning that there's a certain comfort in the fact that right now, that even though everything is backwards, everything is upside down, but the knowledge that it's simply a hester panim, and that hester panim is finite. Hester panim has a limit how much there could be a hester panim, and at the end, so Hashem is going to reveal Himself, and then it's going to be clear. And at the last pasuk on this, with this we'll conclude. So it says, "Ki lo b'chipazon teitzau v'menusa lo seleichum." That at the end, when the redemption comes, it's not going to be b'chipazon. It's going to be in a hurry. It's not going to be running. Ki holech lifnechem Hashem asivchem elokei Yisrael. Because Hashem is going before you. Masivchem elokei Yisrael. Hashem is gathering you together. Okay, so now what does this mean? So when it says that Hashem is lo b'chipazon, when the redemption is going to be lo b'chipazon, so what does this mean? That there was a redemption that was b'chipazon. And what was that? Yes, Mitzrayim. Okay, when we left Egypt, so it says that b'chipazon, it was in a big hurry. Right? So with the Geula, so it's lo b'chipazon. So what's the difference? What's the difference between Yetzias Mitzrayim? It was in a hurry. Everything was forced, and the final Geula is going to be calm. Okay, so he writes that there's two. The Reb Tzadok explains that first of all, ki holech lifnechem Hashem. So he says Havaya. This is a reference to the fact that we have Torah. Okay, the fact that Hashem gives us the Torah, that Yetzias Mitzrayim was before the Torah. Now, what's the difference? That why was Yetzias Mitzrayim in such a hurry? So the Midrash says that if Hashem would have waited one more moment, then we would have fallen into the deepest level of Tumah. We would have sunk into the point of no return. Okay, the 50th level of Tumah. That's why I need to be in a hurry. So, what happened when we got the Torah? Anochi hu menachemcha. When we got Anochi Hashem Elokecha, so then we got this peace in ourselves, that we got a holy divine neshama. Once we have a holy divine neshama, so it's completely impossible for us to fall to the point of no return. So because we have the Torah, because we have this neshama inside of us, so now we have nothing to worry about. So there doesn't need to be any hurry. There doesn't need to be any stress. That at the moment that the Geula has to come, it can come with calmness, because our ability to bounce back is really inborn. Okay, we have what it takes to always stay strong, to always bounce back, and so that there's no need for a b'chipazon. Okay, and the second point is masivchem elokei Yisrael. Hashem says, well, what does it mean? What does it mean masivchem? It says the word la'asov. It says masef kol hamachnas. It means that there is nobody that's going to be left behind. Right? And it says Mitzrayim, so that there were people that were left behind. You know, a lot of the rabbis that like to scare their students say that, you know, in Yetzias Mitzrayim only 20% survived. Who says that's going to be you?
Eric, it's not actually true. It's not actually true.
Well, I'm actually saying it's not true.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Well, just talked about that on Shabbat. It's a midrash, so it's not supposed to be taken literally.
Okay, even if it's not to be taken literally, but it means something. But like there is an opinion that some people died in Yetzias Mitzrayim, but by Choshech. Right. It could be or could not be, but he's saying that even if it was, but like the preachers want you to feel that you better shape up. No more no more
parties.
lace shetels, or what do they call it?
Waste fronts.
So that if you want to be if you want to make sure that you're part of the 20%, so you better only Edah Charidit, and so the Navi is saying that Masivchem L'Kei Yisrael, that no Jew is going to be left behind. That when the Gula is going to come, it's going to be Masivchem. So there doesn't need to be stress. There doesn't need to be stress. The Gula is going to become with calmness. Okay, so this is the Nachama. This is the Nachama of this week, and this is really the we're talking about Netzach. We're talking about Netzach. So there's an Israeli saying. It became a song that Am HaNetzach Lo Mefached Miderech Aruka. Okay, that the nation of eternity is not afraid of a long journey. Okay, we're the nation of eternity. So that being connected to Netzach means that we know that this is we have patience. We know that this is the middle of the story. We know that there's no such thing as giving up, that En Yosh Ba'olam Klal, and there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And this knowledge that there's going to be a light, this knowledge that there is going to be a happy ending. So this is the only thing. This is the Anochi. This is the Ein Sof. This is the Keter. This is the only thing that can give us comfort, is to know that right now it's horrible. Right now there's an incomprehensible pain. Literally the pain that we're going through is incomprehensible. That when I heard the news, I literally I want to scream. But it's just there's nothing that can give a proper expression to the pain that we're experiencing right now. And the only thing that can comfort us is that there's an end. That it will come to an end. So let it be soon, and we should see Ayin B'Ayin, we should see the V'nigla Kvod Hashem, we should see that the revelation, everything should be clear, all of the nations of the world should see the strength of Hashem, and Hashem should take this Kos HaTarela and take away all of this poison, take it away from us and give it to our enemies, B'ezrat Hashem. Amen.